All right. If you're heading into Class 12, you already know this is the big one. The board exams can feel like this huge, scary mountain you're supposed to climb. But what if I told you could have a map? Well, that's exactly what we're doing today, building a clear, simple map to the 2026 CBSE syllabus.
So, you've probably taken a look at the syllabus and felt that little knot in your stomach, right? That feeling of, where do I even begin? Trust me, you are not alone. It is completely normal. But we're going to take all that confusion and turn it into pure confidence. Let's do it.
Okay, here's our game plan for today. Think of it as our roadmap. First, we'll get the big picture view, the exam blueprint. Then, we're going to zoom in on the science stream specifically. From there, we'll dive even deeper into chemistry as a case study to show you how to spot the most important topics. We'll clear up the whole theory versus practical exam thing, cover the critical syllabus updates, what's been cut, and then we'll wrap it all up with a study strategy you can start using today.
First things first, let's talk about the blueprint. Before you can strategize for any single subject, you got to understand the rules of the game you're playing. Getting this part right is the foundation for your entire year. So here's the first major insight you need to have. Your final grade isn't just about that one big theory exam at the end. For most subjects, a huge chunk, we're talking 20 to 30%, comes from your practicals or projects. Why is this so important? Well, it means you can't just cram at the last minute. Every practical you do well in during the year is like putting marks in the bank for your final score.
Now let's zoom in a little. We're going to focus on the science stream. Each subject has its own little quirks, and seeing them all laid out side by side makes everything so much clearer.
You can see the pattern right away, can't you? Physics, chem, and bio all have that clean 70-30 split. But notice the outlier here? Mathematics. It's an 80-20 split. Now, what does that tell you? It tells you that while your internal assessments are important, for math, that final theory paper carries even more weight. That's a super important detail when you're planning out your revision time.
Okay, time for a deep dive. We're going to use chemistry as our example, but I want you to remember this. The method we're using right now, breaking down the unit weightage and finding the priorities, is a powerful tool you can and absolutely should use for every single one of your subjects.
This right here is where we stop just studying hard and start studying smart. Not every chapter is created equal. You can see it clear as day. The syllabus has these high-value targets. Electrochemistry is the absolute king, worth a whopping 9 marks. Right behind it, you've got aldehydes, ketones, and carboxylic acids at 8. Before you even read page 1 of your textbook, you should know these 2 units are your top priority.
Just let that sink in for a second. 2 units, just 2, and they make up almost a quarter of your entire theory exam. That is the definition of smart work. It doesn't mean you ignore everything else, of course not, but it does mean your understanding of these 2 has to be rock solid. Nailing these is what separates a good score from a great one. And hey, go do this for your other subjects. For physics, check out the weightage for optics. For bio, look at genetics and ecology. This works everywhere. Okay, so we've talked about the mark split, but let's shift gears for a second. Let's go from how much they're worth to what they actually test. Because the theory and practical exams aren't just different formats. They're built to measure completely different but equally important skills.
You can think of it like this. The theory exam tests what's inside your brain, your grasp of the concepts, your ability to solve problems with a pen and paper. The practical exam, on the other hand, tests what you can do with your hands, how you handle the equipment, how you make accurate observations, and how you apply all that theory in the real world. They're 2 sides of the same coin. So what really goes on in the lab that earns you those 30 marks? It's not just random experiments. It's a specific set of skill-based challenges. You'll be doing things like titration, which is all about high-precision measurements, and you'll be doing the chemical detective work of salt analysis. Knowing this list ahead of time makes that whole practical component feel a lot less mysterious, doesn't it? All right, let's get to the question that is probably on everyone's mind. What's in and what's out? The syllabus changes, and knowing exactly which topics have been removed is absolutely critical. It lets you focus all your energy where it's actually going to count. Okay, you might want to lean in for this one. This next slide is maybe the biggest time saver you're going to get all year. The CBSE didn't just trim a few topics here and there. For some subjects, they took a hatchet to it. Remember, knowing what not to study is a superpower. And there you have it. Look at this. This is not minor trimming. We are talking about 6. Count them. 6 full chapters completely gone.
huge topics like the p-block elements and the solid state are just poof, vanished. This is a total game changer because it means that for the 10 units that are left, the questions are likely to be more in-depth. They're going to test real understanding, not just how much you can memorize.
So, we've looked at the structure, we've analyzed the syllabus, we've seen what's been cut. Now for the most important part. How do we put all of this together into a winning strategy? Let's turn all this information into action.
So here it is, your 4-step plan. Think of it as a loop you just keep repeating. First, you analyze the weightage, just like we did, to find your high-priority units. Second, with those priorities in mind, you build a rock-solid foundation by mastering the basics. Third, you practice, practice, practice. Solve past papers, do sample questions, test yourself relentlessly. And fourth, and this is maybe the most important step, you focus on understanding the how and the why, the mechanisms behind the concepts, not just memorizing the facts. That's the loop. That's the path to success.
As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this one final thought, and this comes directly from the CBSE itself. The whole point of this syllabus isn't for you to become a fact-memorizing machine. It's to help you truly understand how the subject works. So my question to you is this: what is one thing you can do this week to focus on understanding, not just memorizing?